So yesterday I did a video which I talked about hypothermia cooling for babies who have suffered an HIE brain injury at birth, and I received questions about the types of imaging that's done after the cooling treatment. So today what I want to do is I want to discuss with you that imaging following cooling and how it helps us to understand the patterns of the injury that might be present when a baby has an HIE diagnosis. One of the key tools that's used in this situation is MRI. And MRI is important because MRIs allow us to be able to detect the injury patterns after the cooling therapy has been completed, if the MRI is done then. These injury patterns can tell us a lot about how the HIE injury occurred. So for instance, you can have a partial prolonged pattern, and that's often seen when the brain has been deprived of oxygen over longer periods of time. This type of damage usually is to the watershed regions of the brain, which are major areas and major blood vessels that are particularly vulnerable to reduced blood flow. On the other hand, you can have an acute profound injury which occurs when the deprivation happens more suddenly and it's intense. This type of injury typically affects areas like the basal ganglia, the thalamus, and the parts of the brain that are crucial for motor control and other types of functions. And in some cases, you may have what we call a mixed pattern. And this means that the baby's brain has been exposed to both types of injuries, a partial prolonged deprivation and an acute short-term deprivation, a loss. This type of mixed pattern, it creates a complex picture of the injury. So how do we figure out what do these patterns mean for your child? This is where pediatric neuroradiologists, they're specialists. This is where they come in. These specialists are able to read and interpret MRI scans specifically in children. Their expertise is vital because they can distinguish between the types of brain injury and tell us the type of damage that's occurred. This information is extremely critical, not only for medical care, but also for legal investigations that can be done to determine whether medical errors have actually contributed to the injury. As a birth injury lawyer, having access to these types of detailed MRI reports and working with pediatric neuroradiologists, they help us understand the nature of your baby's injury and whether it might be connected to improper care during labor and delivery. I'm Marcus Boston, and I'm a birth injury lawyer. If you have questions about your baby's HIE brain injury from a medical legal standpoint, don't hesitate to contact me. You can find more information about me in my profile page. All right, that's going to be it for today's quick educational video. Enjoy your weekend, everybody.